I think that's the obligatory smile period over with. Hello, welcome to tonight's edition of the Xander Gibb Show. We are in pre-production mode. We're just getting ready to go live. It is like sweating like I don't know what. It's hot, it's hot, it's hot. Feeling hot, hot, hot. Like too hot, hot, hot. Sorry, I forgot you guys were there for a second. As I said, I'm just sharing the show. Feel free to do the same. We are live for the Xander Gibb Show. That's us. We've got a great show lined up for you tonight. I missed you guys on Friday. I'm here, don't worry, with our guest. I'll tell you who our guest is in just a moment. I might have understood that if you were Japanese. Feel free to click that share button. I'm just going to find the computer. It's so slow today. Here we go. Hi, Janie. Welcome to the live feed. You are our first inhabitant of Citizen Xander Gibb Town, whatever the hell you want to call it. It is hot here. I hope everyone has electricity. It's just taking so long for everything to do what it needs to do. We're just going to go to YouTube. We're just going to say hi to everyone on YouTube. If you are watching on there, please click the bell button and subscribe so you can know when I'm going live. Oh, it's just too hot. Nothing's working tonight, but we'll get there. I'm not worried. We are just doing everything we can to make America great again and ensure we put the world to rights and stop all of this bullshit that's going around. Because frankly, it's tiring. I'm sure you guys will agree. Come on! Here we go. Copy link address. We're just sharing to Instagram so our Instagram people can... why is this computer so freaking slow? So that they can... I know that most of them like to watch on... where are we? They like to watch on YouTube. Oh, it's too hot. Hoping I will cool down. The backdrop fell over twice tonight. So the moral of the story is don't buy backdrops from Amazon. I actually want to come away from Amazon and stop buying stuff from there because they are a little... you know, every other thing that you buy is shit, really. I'm sharing, for those that like to watch on YouTube, I'm sharing the, what? Don't know what happened there. Hi, everybody in the live feed. I will come and say hello to everyone individually. I'm just making sure that all the sharing and stuff is done. Have to go back to Instagram because I shared the wrong link. Thank you, YouTube. Damn liberals. The things they do. I tell you, we must be doing something important here because everyone wants to stop it, including Facebook and various other places. You know, I have the FBI on my ass and it's Xander Gibb. He's a terrorist because he supports President Trump. We're going to build a wall. We're going to build a big wall. And we're going to build it around Paris Hilton's mouth. Anybody else think to death of Paris Hilton? I think he's forgotten how he became famous, from attacking famous celebrity women. I mean, he stalked Britney Spears to the point of, no return, really. Right, let's just share it to Parla and then share it to a couple of places on Facebook as it will allow. And then we are going to get started for today's edition of, you've guessed it, the Xander Gibb Show. As you can probably guess, I'm fed up with Paris Hilton. He needs a good kick in the constable. I said constable. That's a British police officer. There is a way to get away with swearing on live broadcast. Here we go. That's shared on Parler, and we are live on YouTube and Facebook and everywhere else. And just before we go live everywhere, I'm just going to try and share on Facebook if it actually allows me to do it, because it's here we go. Let's see if it lets me do share to a group. Nope. Yeah, it's not letting me do it individually. Darn it. Darn it. Well, we're going to just have to go with it, folks. But we are going to, I have understood that if you were Japanese. We are going to go with the flow and start in just a couple of minutes. Renilla, I'm going to say hi to everyone individually. I agree with you, chat. Paris Hilton is a total bitch. And when he has the audacity, I made a video today. He says the President Donald J. Trump treats women badly. Here's the thing. If President Trump treats women that badly, how does Paris Hilton's examples of treating women badly, which if there have been so many, I mean, let's face it, he made his career on stalking Jennifer Aniston and what's her name, Lady Goo. Can't take that woman seriously anymore. Lady Goo. There we go. That's all I can share to. Just knock my bottle of water over. It's all going well, but you know what? We are being positive. Sharon J. Price is in a 30 days Facebook jail, just in case anyone wants to know. I didn't thank you. She blocked me for being gay. So there you go. Okay, so we're going to go live. It's true. With the opening titles in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It has been good to me this time around. Things were they were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact. And I can find no rest. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to go through ways. Time it cannot. Hello, welcome to today's edition of the Xander Gibb Show, the talk show that really does get you talking on the Xandermonium Network, live from an undisclosed location. Oh, yes, sirree. I'm laughing, I'll tell you why after. Bringing you the best in Patriot broadcasting 5 nights a week. I am Xander Gibb, and on tonight's edition, I get on my soapbox, breaking down and analyzing the real news and taking your calls. And in part 2, Peter Boykin joins us, if he hasn't fallen asleep, to break down today's hottest topics too. You can have your say in the feed below. And as usual, I'll be sharing your comments as we go along. You can follow me on social media everywhere but Twitter. And you can find everything at xandergibb.com. Oh, yes, sorry. Let's sort out the teleprompter just for a change. And then we're going to come to the live feed and say hello to everybody therein. Please click that share button if you haven't already. Let's go backwards. Hello to Janie. Welcome to the show. Hello to Chet. Welcome to the show. Chet from Freedom on Deck. Hello to... who else is there? Hello to Swoop. Welcome to the show, Swoop. Hello to everybody else who's watching, but not in the live feed. Come join us on the live feed. You are more than welcome. You don't have to agree. Hello to CV, my brother. I hope you got power. I hope all you guys have got power back, because I know how devastating that can be to be powerless in a Freedom 4-day brownout. It's the CV and Chet twins in the house. And now it's time for Xander's news of the day. So Simon Cowell has updated fans from his hospital bed after a biking accident left him with a broken back. The X Factor star was trying out a new electric bike at his Malibu home with his family on Saturday when the incident occurred. The 60-year-old took to Twitter after surgery in the early hours of Monday to reassure his fans, 11.3 million followers, that he was indeed okay. The music mogul jokingly recommended that people need to read the manual when trying out a new electric bike, and also praised the medical experts who treated him. Cal tweeted, "Some good advice. If you buy an electric trail bike, read the manual before you ride it for the first time. I've broken part of my back. Thank you to everybody for your kind messages." He added, and a massive thank you to the nurses and doctors. Some of the nicest people I've ever met. Stay safe, everyone. So we do wish Simon Cowell a speedy recovery. Hello to Carla. Carla in the house. Welcome to the live feed. So sleepy, creepy Joe Biden, racist, money launderer, raced, rowed back. What? Can't talk tonight. Rode back, not rowed. Comments suggesting that African Americans as a group do not have diverse political views, which he said was not the case for Latinos. Now, the presumptive Democratic nominee said most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions. The Latino community is an incredibly diverse community. Biden tweeted to clarify what he meant, saying that African Americans are not a monolith. He also pledged to listen more and stop being a dementing, pedophile, money laundering, racist, allegedly segregating bigot. I mean, isn't it something when you have to go onto social media right after to tell people what you actually really meant, or if your people do? Because let's face it, he's not doing that shit himself. Oh, did I say the S word? I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here is moving to the UK this year as opposed to Australia. It's been confirmed the ITV reality series is usually held in Australia, but bosses have made a decision to base it in the UK amid coronavirus pandemic fears. Instead of the balmy jungle camp, this year's crop of celebrity contestants will be roughing it in the British countryside, where they will probably have to swap shirts for thermals. Ant and Dec will still be on board as hosts, and the show will be broadcast live every night from a ruined castle in Wales. Bosses promised that despite the move from Dan Anda, viewers will still see celebrities undertake grueling tasks and fun-filled challenges to win food and treats in the lead up to one of them being crowned for the first time ever king or queen of the castle. I'm telling you, the way the weather is in the UK right now, it's going to be really balmy here too. Welcome to the show, Jason. Welcome to the live feed. A royal biographer. I just read that as a royal bigot. Then I don't know why. A royal biographer has claimed that Prince Harry has become a shadow of his former self and lost some of his charismatic, mischievous charm over the past few years as a result of only focusing on negativity. So that's why they call what they call Meghan A. Angela Levine, author of Harry, Conversations with the Prince, made the claims during an appearance on ITV's Royal Rota Harry's changed enormously since I met him, Levine said. I found that he was charismatic. He had a raw stardust about him. He was willing with people, especially if they were physically, emotionally, or psychologically damaged, which is probably why he loves Meghan so much. He's got a mischievous side too, she said. However, in the years since she wrote her biography, the Duke of Sussex about him said that he's a shadow of his former self. She also said of the Duke and Duchess that most of the grievances are incredibly petty. I would tend to agree, and I think it's sad when someone marries into a family and then they kind of cause divide in that family and even, insult the nation and insult the press. But I really do pray that these things work out because, in fairness, Prince Harry is part of the monarchy, and I can't forget the fact that he is Princess Diana's son, and I really did love Princess Diana. So a couple who claim to have seen Downing Street aide Dominic Cummings on a second lockdown trip to Durham have filed an official complaint to the police watchdog, according to reports. Now, Dave and Claire Edwards told the Daily Mirror that they informed the police in May that they'd seen Boris's chief advisor while walking in Howell Woods near Durham on April 19th, the weekend after he returned to work in London. Mr. Cummings has denied making the second trip, insisting the photos and data on his phone disprove the allegations. Durham Constabulary ultimately said they would not take retrospective action despite finding the Prime Minister's aide may have a minor breach of the lockdown laws by making a trip to the northeast with his family earlier in April. And when Boris Johnson was asked, he said, "Leave my friend alone or there will be absolute trouble for you in the future." Why is it that those that make the rules can't keep the rules? Thank you, Jason, for commenting on my camo shirt. Thank you very much. Leader Kim Jong-un made a rare visit to parts of southern North Korea where days of torrential rains have flooded hundreds of houses and vast areas of agricultural land. State media reported on Friday Kim's latest visit could be seen as an effort to bolster an image of a leader caring about public livelihoods at the time when the North's economic woes are believed to have worsened due to the coronavirus pandemic. It's forced North Korea to close its border with China, its biggest trading partner, in January. Extensive flooding would only add to the North's economic troubles. Friday, Kim inspected a town in the North province where the water levee gave way following a rainstorm. The agency said the levee break left more than 730 single-floored houses and 600-odd hectares of rice field inundated and blocks were destroyed. Kim also said officials will be dispatched to direct works building 800 model houses in the town and to rebuild roads and other infrastructure with local residents. So not dead yet then, as reported, and we won't be worrying about his sister taking over from him, who is apparently a lot meaner than she is. And finally, I know we all love the "and finally" section, I do too. Alyssa Milano has discovered she had coronavirus despite testing negative 3 times. The Charmed star said her positive antibody results came after she previously received a series of false negatives, despite experiencing basically every COVID symptom in late March. The 47-year-old shared a picture of herself from months ago wearing an oxygen mask and said she'd never been this kind of sick. Well, we think you've been pretty sick for some time after unknowingly contracting the virus. Everything hurt, loss of smell. It felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest. That would be the Democrats. I couldn't breathe, she said. I couldn't keep food in me. I lost 9 pounds in 2 weeks. I was confused. Low-grade fever and the headache was horrible, she wrote in the caption. Despite her symptoms, Milano said she tested negative for coronavirus twice at the end of March and also received a negative result for her COVID antibody test, which was performed with a finger prick after she was feeling a bit better. However, Milano wrote that she decided to take another antibody test after continuing to live with lingering symptoms such as vertigo, liberalism, stomach abnormalities, irregular periods, and brain problems, heart palpitations, shortness of breath, and liberal epithets and shortness of memory. The test was performed at a lab and the results came back positive. She said, "I'm positive for COVID antibodies." Why is it just liberals that seem to be getting COVID-19? Maybe whichever lab kind of created it have, I don't know, just made sure it's only affects mostly dickheads and Democrats, et cetera, et cetera. Apparently, I have to tell you this, though. I'm not that excited about it, but I know a lot of people are. But apparently, there's going to be a new series of who's the boss, like with them as adults. That would be interesting to see. Will her commentary over the past couple of years stop you from watching it? I think it will for me. I'm feeling very polarized by certain supposed celebrities right now. But, we will have to see. And that was Xander's news of the day. Now, if you want to get on your soapbox and come on, or even come on and talk about a particular news item, something that's pissing you off, maybe it's me. You can contact us at xandergibb.com, or you can go to the Xander Gibb website and go to the contact page, and you can contact me there. Absolutely. My sentiments exactly, chat. Poor Tony Zanza. So we got time for a couple of calls. I'm just looking at the time to make sure I haven't waffled on for too long. We've got time for a couple of calls. If you're in the USA, you can call us on 845-363-4747. If you're calling from the UK, you can call us on 0208-52... No. If you're calling from the UK, you can call us on 0208-133-5274. That's 0208-133-5274. The lines are open now. Let's have a look, see what people are saying. In the live feed, Chet is saying that antibodies are good. See, my British head comes on sometimes. Antibodies are good. Yes, they are. Stevie said Melissa kept getting tested until she was satisfied. Yeah, I kind of think that. But isn't it funny how all these liberal celebrities, Tom Hanks, her, et cetera, they're all testing positive for COVID, but we never actually get to see the results. And my first thing that I want to say is when people say, "Oh, I've tested positive for COVID," I want to say, prove it. We have a call. You are live on the Xander Gibb Show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Xander.
Chet.
Sorry, I was a little late there.
Didn't recognize
I'm here.
I didn't recognize your number.
The last two times you've answered, it's like, I don't know, it comes in late, so, for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's Skype. We use the Skype phone system on here, and sometimes it's good and other times it's absolutely crap. But, it kind of works mostly, so we're going to stick with it until I win the lotto and can have my own phone system. Welcome back to the show. How was your weekend? Do you have power? And what's pissing you off today?
Yeah, we have power. We've had power since Friday. We went,
we got
out of
the
here
power!
for a little while and then came back, but we do have the power now.
Right.
And I believe CV finally does too today. And there are still people on Long Island that don't. One of the craziest things you find out when you go around Long Island is a lot of the districts run off separate grids, but on the same road, because a lot of these things are buried. The grids, you could have power and your neighbor could have no power, and then your other neighbor could have power. It's just it's kind of weird how that works out here, but I'm happy to have power and be able to talk to you tonight for sure.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you, did you see Joe Biden on the bicycle?
No, I didn't. I missed that. What was that all about? Did he remember how to ride it?
That was I was surprised because the gentleman that's a Fox anchor, they get ahead of the bikes, right? That's how you get your scoop. And they wait at an intersection, and Joe Biden came rolling through on the bike with 20 to 30 people around him, Secret Service, and obviously some of his his handlers, and they were yelling to him, "Who's the VP?" And first of all, he had a mask on, which was really bizarre, and it can't be comfortable in this heat, especially at his age. And he mockingly said, "You're my pick." Everybody around him had no mask. Biden had a mask in the center. Obviously, we're dealing with a lot of heat throughout the country right now. At his age, I just didn't understand why they would have him out like that. He sounded all right.
Well,
And of course, it's the one thing the liberals got ticked off about Xander is that he went around in a mask, but everyone else wasn't wearing one. That's the only thing they're worried about with Joe Biden is the fact that some of his handlers didn't have a mask on. You can't make this crap up anymore.
no. But the other thing is this for me. They're not kind of worried about that. They sure worry about that, but they're not worried about pushing him out there when he's clearly dementing in some way, shape, or form. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, an old guy like that, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, regardless of his kind of politics, it's not fair because he is going to crash, isn't he? Let's face it.
Well, I think that's kind of inevitably what everybody's talking about right now. It seems like they're planning ahead for something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't made a decision for the VP. There's got to be something behind that. You hear a lot of Obama talking right now, where Obama was quiet for some time, and now you hear him more out there speaking, and you're actually, who's back out there crowing? Hillary.
Really?
Hillary's out there making the rounds. The Queen of Cabbage Farts is back at it. Her sulfur-like smell. They're trying to keep that out of the whiff of the liberal voters, but
no pun there.
You know what, though, Xander? If she could get it, she would.
And she would. She would. But here are the questions for me with regards to VP. Is he going to sell it like, Bernie Sanders did? Or who is the VP going to be? Because I have a choice. I have three. I think it's either going to be Big Mike Obama, Gay Kenyon Barry Obama, or Hillary. Because I think, we know she would do anything to be president. Anything.
She would. She would do anything to be president. What they're trying to do right now is figuring out if he could actually win. And I honestly don't think he can.
No.
Unless they rig the election and they rig the mail-ins. If they do that, Xander, if they rig this thing, if they get the mail-in ballots, he'll win. I'm sorry. Everybody has to realize we cannot have this mail-in crap happen. Because there's no way that Trump wins if they do that. And I think we have to kind of worry a little bit here because I don't know that we've been paying attention enough to what the Democrats are trying to do here when it comes to mail-in balloting. Aside from the fact that the stories are coming out of California, there was one district in New York, I think there was one in Oregon, where they've been experimenting with this mail-in balloting crap, and they still don't know the results on any of these elections. So shouldn't we honestly be able to ask Joe Biden, it's not working, look at these examples, how can you promote mail-in balloting when you're a presidential candidate and you see that it's not working here?
Right. I want to touch on this for a little minute here because the thing is that, they talk about the fact that the president promotes mail-in balloting. But when the president was promoting it, he was actually talking about on a small scale for those people who couldn't get to the polls, for those people who lived in rural areas, for those people with disabilities who couldn't get out of the house so easily. Not the whole freaking country. I mean, when you think about the scale, like I would say 1%, 2% maybe is usual mail-in ballots. Maybe I'm wrong. But for it to be between 80 and 100% mail-in ballots, the propensity for fraud on that scale is phenomenal. And this is the most important election of our adult lives. And if we allow this to be stolen because of fraud, then we may as well all pack up and go to Canada and live with Fruity Trudeau.
Yeah, no, thank you. What the president was referring to, Xander, were people that were bedridden, people that couldn't leave the house. And you know what? He's right. They should have the right to mail in their ballot at a small scale. Not because the liberals and the Democrats tell us you can't leave your house because of COVID-19.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're going to Target and they're going wherever the hell else they want to riot, and they can do all this without masks, but we can't vote. It's unreasonable.
Yeah.
It's stupid. But the problem is the mainstream media beats you over the head if you take a position, especially a position position of some kind of normalcy when it comes to COVID-19.
Right.
There are safe ways that people can go
Of course.
to the ballot box. If you want to extend the time at the ballots, I'm fine with that. If you want to help busing get to the ballots, I'm cool with that. You can do whatever you want. Just make sure that people show up with a photo ID that shows they're an American citizen and they go to vote in a polling booth just like anyone else.
Right. You see, I to Chris in the Life Aid. I can't believe this that still in 2020, it's the same here in the UK, that any Tom, Dick, or Harry can go to the polling station and vote without ID. They can say that they're, Bart Simpson if they want to, and nobody questions that. So what could happen in these elections? You see, you got to have it for everything else. You got to have an ID at the DMV. You got to have ID to get prescriptions. You got to have ID for all these other things. So if for something as important as voting, surely all voter ID has to be something that needs to be implemented. I'm surprised it hasn't been done now. And before you write in and say I'm bashing the president, the Donald's had enough to do in the past 4 years. He cannot fix 8 years of misadministration of Barack Obama, and even prior to that, in 3.5 years. It's just not possible. But I would hope that that's going to be high on his agenda for next time.
Well, I mean, honestly, Xander, the rule on the law is that you are supposed to have a voter ID. You're supposed to have a picture ID when you go. It's the districts in the liberal states that tell you that you don't need one. In 2016, and I always vote at the same in 2018, I voted at the high school. They switched us from the fire department in my district. But in 2018, they actually did ask for our IDs.
Right.
But in 2016, they didn't. This was over at the high school in Southampton.
Right.
And I asked the woman, I said, well, why aren't you asking for my ID? And she said, well, we don't need that. We just need your name. And I said, oh, that's fine. My father died 8 years ago. Can I come back and vote as him too? And she looked at me, with a kind of snarky and said, well, that doesn't happen. And I said, yes, it does.
Much.
Yes, it does.
Well, look at California in 2016. Look how many people they proved were actually dead and had been dead for a number of years, but still registered to vote. I mean, what is it? Doris Stokes, Sylvia, whatever her name is, communing with the dead so they can vote. As far as I'm aware, the only people that are allowed to vote are legal American citizens, not the dead, not illegal immigrants, not people from other countries. If you are not an American citizen, a legal American citizen, you do not have the right to vote. And it is that simplistic.
No, and the sad part is, if you go across the border to Mexico, Xander, you can't vote there without a photo ID, and you would be arrested if you crossed over the border into their country.
Exactly.
Our country, you can do whatever the hell you want when you come over here. This is not what my grandfather bled for.
No, my sister, when I came back to New York, my sister, every time I used to go out in my car, and I'm a grown-ass adult, would say, Zanny, make sure you take your driver's license and insurance with you. You have to have your driver's license with you as an adult to drive. Well, as anybody to drive. But you don't have to take it. You get away with not taking it with you to vote. If you were driving and you didn't have your driver's license with you, hello to my Gina, welcome to the live feed. If you didn't have that with you, you would be arrested. You'd certainly get into trouble.
I think it was around 2016 because I work on the far east end of Long Island, right?
Right.
On the far west end, more up where CV is. Oh, maybe CV does too, but out on the east end is where a lot of the illegal workers come to get work because a lot of the work is on the east end. One of the delis that I went to, they would have a lot of illegals in there, obviously legal Hispanics as well. I never had a problem over there. I'd go in and get coffee. They were nice. But one day there was a booth set up in front of the deli where it said Aki vote, and all the literature that they had was in Hispanic and not one lick of English on the paper.
Right.
And I said to the the gentleman who was actually handing out Hillary buttons, I said, "Why are you promoting a candidate?" And he said, "Well, this is who they support."
Wow.
And I said, "You think they all support her?" And I said, "Second of all, most of the people walking into this building are not legal."
Right.
I said they should be able to. They should have to show UID in order to take that registration.
Of course.
And get that ugly button.
Of course.
But then they call you a racist. They tell you not to come back. The whole kid. But
Right.
Trust me, Xander. These Democrats and these liberals are all over Long Island trying to rig elections for local governors and mayors and this, that, and the other, and the presidential race. And it is illegal what they're doing. What they're doing is criminal, and they should be arrested for that.
Absolutely. The one thing I've always said, the thing is that even when I was a Democrat, I remember, back in the day, the party line from Republicans, which I thoroughly agreed with. They always said, "We'll sort out immigration with you, but we need to secure the border first," which always seemed sensible to me, even as a Democrat. But the left could never kind of accept the ideology. But the part two of that, the caveat I think should be for people moving to the United States, as a legal immigrant, the way it should be done, should be twofold. It should be that, number one, you learn the language, and number two, you pay your taxes, because you can't move to a country and freeload. I'm not talking about during COVID or any of that BS. I'm talking about in general. You should learn the language, because there are people that have been in the United States for 50 years and still can't speak English. I'm sorry, if you cannot speak the language, and don't write in and tell me that's racist. You can contact me at Xander Gibb at idon'tgivashit.com. But those principles should be universal. If you move to any country as a foreigner, and you can't say foreigner anymore either, you should learn the language and pay your taxes. And if you do those two things, as far as I'm concerned, good for you. You're one of us.
I have another story to tell you about. This was a few years back, and bear with me. I know you gotta get me off. I do upkeep at this place. It's called the Hedges Inn. There are a lot of Latinos that work there. Most of them don't speak English. A few years back, probably 4, 5, 6 years, I had to speak to the manager. As I rang the doorbell, the woman that answered did not speak English, and I was trying to get inside to talk to this woman, Ann, that manages the Hedges Inn. When I finally was able to get in because somebody else came and talked to me, and as I spoke to Ann about what we were going to be doing, she turned to me at the very end and she said, "Chet, you should really learn Spanish." And I said, I do know a little bit. I said, what's your reasoning for that? And she said, well, for when you run into situations like today. And I said to her, Ann, do you know how backwards that sounds?
Yeah.
And she was like, no. And I said, well, this is America, and I don't have to learn any other language except for the one that I excel at.
Absolutely.
And that's English.
When I lived in London, they have a local church in the UK. It was called community churches or something back then, and I called the local authority to talk to them about it. And the woman I spoke to was Nigerian, and I could not understand a word she says. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if you are in an English-speaking country, the primary thing that you should be able to do if you work answering the telephone and dealing with inquiries is that you should be able to speak the language. I asked her to repeat it 5 times, and she said to me, "You are a racist." And I said, "Why am I a racist, ma'am?" She said, "I am from another country. You should be respectful." Well, if you're from another country and you want respect, learn the damn language if you're answering the phone. I think it's a primary requirement.
Sick of people screaming racism when it has nothing. Why is learning the language of the land that you are living in racist?
Absolutely.
Xander, they're full of it. They try to disguise their Marxism as social justice, and they're all full of shit, bottom line.
Yeah, but it's not even, I don't think it's even that, because the thing is that my father said like 25 years ago, he said a lot of things, but one of the things he said, political correctness is going to get us killed. And I used to think, what the hell do you mean by that, old man?
Yeah.
But he was absolutely right. What we did 25 years ago, we started to give more rights to people who were not from this country, because I'm all for equality. I want everybody to be treated the same. But when you want more rights than anybody else, that's not equality, that's equity. That's not equality if you want more rights than other people. People who are born in the country don't get more rights or more precedence than that. So why should you? And I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this ideology that nationalism is a bad thing. We should be putting people from the country first, and then anybody that comes to join us, we'll see what we've got left after that. But if you're paying into that system, you are one of us. Sorry, I'm flashing white power again. Sorry.
And a lot of the horrible liberal leaders that we have had, and FDR was probably the prime example of a socialist, but he did actually agree with some nationalist policies, including that if your enemy is in the land where you are occupying, you watch them and you put them under arrest.
Yeah.
We actually put many a Japanese citizen under arrest under FDR because we weren't stupid back then.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ridiculous, you know.
You know, it's funny you saying about, someone saying to you, oh, you should learn Spanish. I spent a lot, in my formative years, I spent a lot of years in Spain, so I can get around in Spanish. So then when people start speaking to me Spanish in Spanish in New York, and I start speaking like proper Spanish, they can't understand a word I'm saying because they're operating some bastardized version of Spanish in the United States. So you can't win, chat. You really can't.
No,
hello to Roberto.
And
welcome.
And the truth is that manager at that hotel was a very nice woman. She was an extreme liberal. And you would think that the thinking would be, you know what, these folks are working here. I'm going to try to get them some help so they can learn English.
Absolutely.
But no, that wasn't her reaction. Her reaction was, I was a no-good son of a bitch. Well, I don't think she thought that.
No.
But she was saying, you need to learn it, as she did. And it was just, I've had a lot of smacks in the mouth that turned me away from liberalism, and that was one of them. We all have these pivotal moments where we realize that party is just cancer to the United States of America. The Democrat Party is the Communist Party USA.
It absolutely
they are
is.
both the same.
It absolutely is. Welcome to the live feed, Renee. You are more than welcome to be amongst us. The thing for me is that the turning point for me was towards the middle of Barack Obama's first misadministration, I should call it. And when you actually start to question things as a Democrat, they don't want you. It's like, oh my God, he's waking up. Where is it? Which storage facility is his brain in? We need to go and check if he's stolen it back. I don't want to be a member of any organization that wants to inhibit my thinking or doesn't want me to question anything. Because for me, ultimately, we should be questioning everything, even from our own party. And some Republicans would say, oh, Xander, you can't say that. Yeah, I can say that. We should be questioning. Everyone's open to infiltration. There are Republicans that are even on the ballot today that should not be because they're not true Republicans. So we do have to question everything.
They know they're not. And don't worry, that's all being done for a reason.
Of course.
There are people in the Republican Party that hate the Republican Party. Look at that one asshole that's always chewing his upper lip, and he's just a creepy looking guy. I forgot
which
his name.
one. Take your pick. Hi, Mike. Welcome to the live feed.
I always called him the turd in the punch bowl. Kasich, absolute liberal.
All right.
Everything that he's ever done, everything he's touched is left. He is not a Republican. He is not a conservative bone in his body, but he's allowed to be in the party.
Yeah.
And that's why I have an issue with the Republican Party. And they should all get behind Trump, regardless of what they think about his policies. If they are fighting against Donald Trump, that shows you that they are fighting against conservatism in the United States of America.
Right.
And they're fighting against the American people who elected him.
Absolutely. Let me just ask you one question because we've only got a couple of minutes left. One of my British friends who happens to be a liberal, shall we say, called me today and said, "Are you worried about President Trump?" And I'm like, "Always, but what? What in particular?" Apparently, they're reporting that his behavior has become odd. When he said in a statement the other day about he was concerned like for his safety, and he walked out of a meeting today. I mean, things are getting bad in the lead up to this election, and I don't doubt that he actually feels threatened right now. Don't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, I pray for the president every night. You know, that man has put up with more shit than any other president in the history of the United States of America. Because what he's doing is he is fighting Satan and evil itself on our shores. He's the only one with the nuts to do it, and all these other cucks that try to tell us the way that we should think, act, and live are just not American. President Trump has done some weird things over the past few days. One of them was when he was at the Whirlpool Executive Conference, and he said maybe this would be the last time you see me. I am worried about him, not because he's not functional. It's because he realizes that these bastards would kill him if they could.
Of course they would.
He's known that. He's not going anywhere. It is a big mountain to climb. But I'll tell you one thing, Xander. Abraham wasn't perfect. Moses wasn't perfect. And Donald Trump, he's just about as perfect as both of those gentlemen were. So I'll take my Donald Trump any day.
Well,
and I will defend it.
Absolutely. And the thing is, at the end of the day, Donald Trump is a human being, and he's fallible, and he has made mistakes. I happen to think that he's been. How dare you? I'm not. I happen to think that he's done an exemplary job as president under very difficult circumstances, but he continues to have my support, and I am very critical, and at the end of the day, I think that America will be screwed without him for another 4 years. So yeah, Trump 2020, what more can I say?
Keep America great. What more can we say to that, Xander? We support the president, and we're going to keep hammering it home to get him reelected.
Yeah, you'll have me singing, "Oh, beautiful for spacious skies." But we really do have to leave it there before I start doing full chapter and verse. But tell people where they can find you, chat, and I'm sure you'll be back tomorrow. And you're a guest on Wednesday this week because there's no show on Friday.
Yeah, so go to freedomondeck.com. I do have to talk to you about a spot probably for this week or the following week. So
sure.
Xander's on with us every Sunday from 3 to 5. All the links are there. We are an FM terrestrial show, and it's kind of we've kind of got an upgrade. Fox News is now the umbrella company that uses us, so that's nice. And if you go to freedomondeck.com on Sundays, you can listen right there. If you want to look at some more awesome articles, they're over there too. Julio Rivera, a bunch of other contributors over there, and all our back shows and great interviews. And, of course, a lot of Xander Gibb is there as well.
Oh, yeah, he's fabulous, that Xander Gibb guy.
He is.
Listen,
totally hot.
Thank you so much for being pretty fabulous yourself, brother. God bless you, and I'll speak to you very soon.
Keep America great. Everyone out there, Trump 2020, brother.
Amen. Amen. That was Chet Martin from Freedom on Deck. Make sure you go check them out at freedomondeck.com. My guest tonight is Peter Boykin from Go Right News. He's going to be joining us any minute, live from the United States of America, if he hasn't fallen asleep. If he has, his neck will be on the block for the Xander Gibb Show future appearances, but I'm sure he won't forget tonight. Carla is saying lots of child porn links being plastered around social media. Do you know the thing that I'm noticing? I've had 4 hookers follow me on Instagram this week, 4 female hookers, that is. And I think that's kind of hilarious. I mean, you only have to take a look at my timeline to know that I'm openly gay. So why are female hookers kind of contacting me? It is a bit wasteful, girls. So, back the hell off. I'm not interested. CV says Trump is 1,000 times less flawed than Obama, Bush, and Clinton. Yeah, I agree with that. Gina says, great call, Chet. Absolutely. Always a great time talking to Chet Martin from Freedom on Deck. Notice I got his name right. You can check out that show Sunday 3 till 5 on News Now and Stimulating Talk, which is now a subsidiary of Fox. Oh, yes, sorry. Don't forget about our drinking game. Every time we talk about Goats Lives Matter, talking of Goats Lives Matter, where is Dave? Has anybody seen Dave? I messaged him. We need to check in on him, guys. This should be my guest. calling us now from the United States, the one, the only, the fabulous Mr. Peter Boykin from Go Right News. Thanks for joining us, brother. How is the world with you? And please tell me it is really hot where you are.
It's humid. Always humid.
Can you, are you on speaker or something? Because we're getting it's a little choppy.
Hold on. Can you hear me better now?
I can hear much better now. Yeah, it's very humid here, even in the UK. My hair's gone kind of frizzy, but we will leave hair care for another segment and jump right into our first topic because, as usual, we are time bound. President Trump issued an executive order recently prohibiting U.S. individuals and companies from making any transactions with TikTok's parent company, ByteDance. Now, the order is set to take effect in 45 days, argues quite rightly that TikTok continues to threaten the national security, foreign policy, and the economy of the United States. Trump also issued a similar order concerning transactions with WeChat, which is owned by a different Chinese company. It's unclear the extent to which either order is legal or enforceable. Both are likely to face legal challenges. Now, Microsoft has been in talks with ByteDance to acquire TikTok, and President Trump said this week that he'd require any sale to an American company to include a very big cut going to the U.S. government. Is this just about security, or is it also a punishment to China for the Kung flu?
Well, it could be a little bit of everything. It could be a revenge for supposedly the TikTok challenge to go say that we're going to go to a rally and then not show up.
Yeah.
There was a rumor that goes around. Of course, I don't use the app because I don't need to use the app. But there was a rumor that Donald Trump shut down Grindr, which is a gay app, because it was owned by China and did the same thing, forced China to sell it to an American person because they had too much of our security.
Right.
So this is no different.
I wouldn't know.
Actually, I would love for this to be transferred to Twitter, and Facebook, where we only talk to American people or we know who we're talking to.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about.
But of course, they are more leftist.
I wouldn't know anything about anything gay. I don't know about you, but it just doesn't enter my atmosphere. And on this show, we refer to it as China. Now, one of the things
China with a Y.
China.
China.
One of the things that one of the things that Apple identified was that TikTok have made some algorithm or done it so they can actually copy what the last thing was on your clipboard on your phone, and people are saying, "Oh, well, maybe Apple should do something about that and stop them from doing it." But no, surely these Chinese motherfuckers should just stop spying on us. Isn't it that simple?
Well, we got to be careful about these Chinese apps. I mean, look at those Hawaii phones. They have the back doors on those Chinese phones. They can figure out what we're doing. And there's all sorts of back doors. So, I will tell you this. I know this for a fact. Donald Trump tweets from an Apple phone.
Right.
For security reasons. There was a program I used that showed how many tweets from a person, and it actually showed all that came from Apple. So he tweets from an Apple because it is secure. It's so secure we can't even get in the app ourselves because the government can't even get in the app. I don't like using Apple because Apple censors things that aren't even supposed to be censored. So, but they did take on that thing. You got to think about the Apple. They did take on the promise. They repatriated money and came back to the United States because they realized that China was just sit there and steals the technology anyway. So why do business overseas?
Absolutely. And why should
save money, but in the long run, you lose money.
Absolutely. And why should China be rewarded? I mean, let's face it. Whether they created, the coronavirus themselves, the latest version of the coronavirus, or not, they allowed it to get out. They said it was safe. They said it wasn't a problem. And people have died because of this, and economies have been affected because of this. And it wouldn't surprise me if this was an intentional thing. Why should they be rewarded for any of this? Both the UK.
They shouldn't get rewarded.
Both the UK.
I just saw somebody talk about a working working vaccine against the China virus. And, of course, it comes from China. So how convenient. It was created in China, and now they have the vaccine. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think we should be paying. They should be giving it to us for free.
Yeah.
If they've got a virus, if they've got they know what it is. I talked this story before. They knew what was going on. I know insight from way before the coronavirus came around. Just talking to a Chinese doctor I've had around me, a young girl that told me all about coronavirus before it even had a name. And she told me this has been around, and they didn't even have a name for it at the time. So I know what it is. But look at last year's stomach flu. That stomach thing. People were dying their lungs from inhaling vapors. That was the coronavirus. That was just the test.
Absolutely.
It's all bull. It's all population control.
Of course it is. And the other side of the coin is that they're going to, I get a feeling they're going to insist. That was quite weird. They're going to insist on everybody having the vaccine. I won't be having the vaccine. I don't even have the flu vaccine because of the way that it actually changes.
I'm not taking the vaccine.
No.
If I don't need it, I'm not taking it. If my parents want to take it, that's up to them. I personally am not taking a vaccine. But, if you do your research, just do the search. Vaccine found in 3 hours, you'll find back from January, February, there's legitimate articles on legitimate websites that a team that found all the other previous vaccines found the virus vaccine within 3 hours because they had the genetic code of this virus they got from China. They found the virus cure way back then, but they said by late summer is when they'll be able to put it out. So it's on stage. But, they've drawn this out because it's political.
Of course.
November 4th, nobody's going to be dying of the coronavirus.
No, of course. And it obviously benefits the left because, if there is this big bad virus around, people can't go out and vote. Even they can go to the Walmart and to the beach and to riot and to gay rallies and stuff like that. Because obviously liberals and gays are immune.
We should start a TikTok challenge of stay home and quit rioting and
shut
the hell up.
We should add a caveat to that. When all of this is over, that they should get out of bed and get a job and contribute something to the damn country and stop being a miserable loser ass liberal.
The right TikTok challenge, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I want to move on to our next topic. New York Attorney General Letitia James today provided supposed evidence of what others had already claimed that the National Rifle Association, the NRA, is a cornucopia of corruption. In her news conference, she used the language familiar to students and swindles and scams: fraud, misconduct, illegal, excessive, improper. It's a vocabulary routinely applied to Trumpism. Indeed, it was previously deployed by the same Attorney General when she shut down President Trump's personal foundation. James presented the NRA as sloppy for accepting money from donors and deposited in the pockets of the NRA, allegedly. Now, if the courts find the NRA violated the New York profit laws, Adam Winkler says the Charities Board could obtain damages as well as the removal of LaPierre and other directors and officers of the organization. Now, isn't this just another way for them to attack President Trump and his supporters?
Yeah. It is a way to attack Trump. If there's internal problems going on in a company, of course they need to take care of something like that.
Right.
But at the same time, why is it all of a sudden some big thing? Let's attack the NRA. But it turns out, I read a story that's not, and somebody was talking about it, not all members of the NRA are Republicans. They've got plenty of Democrats that are part of the NRA, too.
For sure.
That's not just a simple, the Constitution gives the second right. Look at, here's a meme I saw the other day. How come they're not calling those AK whatever assault weapons right now since the Black Lives Matter and the Antifa are walking around with them now? Now they're not called assault rifles anymore. Now they're leaving that alone as long as the left has them. I saw a video earlier. Somebody pulled a gun that was supposed to be one of the Black Lives Matter. How they're taking over the highways, keeping the highways. There's a guy in a big blue truck, and somebody had a gun out and basically threatening the person in the truck to turn around. And I'm like, man, everybody was like commenting, well, I would have run the person over before they even got a chance to shoot.
You and me both.
If I see somebody with a gun in the middle of the road, I don't know if I'll have enough time to back up and turn around.
No.
I might just have to run them over.
Yeah. Because,
if I was going to see anybody else with a gun, they might just get run over.
Yeah, better to.
So it's some crazy stuff. These people are not peaceful. They're completely violent, and they don't understand the First Amendment. The First Amendment grants you peaceful assembly.
Right.
Peaceful assembly, but it also grants you the government not to stop your peaceful assembly. So when these people walk into Walmart, Target, or whatever it is, they have broken the First Amendment. They don't have no First Amendment rights in a Walmart
Absolutely.
or Target to take it over. That's when the cops can come in and snatch them up. They do not have any right to go to a private, public-private, whatever business, and do that. Now, if they go into a city hall, maybe, it's a little different, but no, they really start going after these people because it's a mess. But yeah, for the NRA, yes, they're trying to attack. It's like at nighttime now. Yes, the Boy Scouts, they had a lot of issues, but every night commercials against the Boy Scouts, the Boy Scouts, the Boy
Right.
Scouts. And I'm like, yeah, y'all are doing this the election year. Not only are you wanting to attack the Boy Scouts, you're making them get a bad name because you also don't like what the Boy Scouts actually good stuff they stood for, and they're destroying their image.
Isn't it
That's
time
what they're trying to do with the NRA.
Isn't it time to apply these same ideologies and tactics to the Clinton Foundation? I remember when Hillary was running for president, which always makes me want to laugh because she's such a complete loser. But they apparently they had a forensic accountant come and look at the books of the Clinton Foundation. However, no one ever got to see the outcome of that. They just said, "Oh yeah, it's 200% honest." And I think that if they're
never got in
expecting
trouble for all the money they stole from Haiti, neither.
no, of course
All
not.
that money they stole from Haiti never got in trouble. Never got in trouble. And
No.
I honestly don't expect the previous president to ever go to jail. I actually don't want it to happen. I know people do, but think about it. Did you imagine how much they would bobber Trump out of when he's out of office? So I don't care to see a president go to jail. I would like them to tell people like Hillary and Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, you're not going to jail, but you need to stay the hell away from politics. Period.
I disagree because I think
at the same time, do you think Donald Trump's going to be away from politics when he's out of office? If
Yes.
he doesn't get reelected, do you think he's going to go away? He's going to be even more pain in their side for the next 4 years, and I guarantee you he will run again.
no,
So,
but I think his second term, after his second term, I think he will be done. But here's the thing for me. I think the American people actually need a level of justice. They need to see the Democrats prosecuted for the things that they've done. No one's ever done anything about the money laundering from Burisma. No one's ever done anything about, Bernie Sanders selling his seat.
They didn't do anything
All
about
of these
Benghazi,
illegal things.
for that matter.
It's absolute BS. I'm equally keen to see Republicans charged for their crimes as I am for Democrats, because I think that if you are in public office, as much as possible, you should be above reproach. And sadly, so many of them are not. And that's a huge concern to me. You should be trying to do better.
Yeah. They got to go after people for what they're doing, and this partisanship about going after some people but not going after the other. That's the problem.
It is.
The Democrats, they have no problem trying to get as many Republicans in trouble, but they don't even do anything about their own people.
No, because
and believe me, their own people are doing stuff. But we take care of our swamp most of the time internally. We kick them out,
Absolutely.
But we have corruption happens on all sides.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and we
it
should be.
happened here in North Carolina, and we got rid of those people, and they were whistleblowed by our own people.
Yeah.
And
so
I
it
think
should be.
I think the guy's running for governor now.
Yeah, and so it should be. We got to leave it there, Peter. Peter, but tell people where they can find out more about what you're doing and when they can watch your show.
Yeah, you can go on GoRightNews.com. I'm on YouTube, and I have a new podcast called Something Not Political. The website for that is somethingnotpolitical.com. It's brand new. And the other cool thing I have going on right now is I just put a petition up. It's kind of a parody versus Sweden getting rid of the coronavirus. If you go check out my page on Facebook, you'll see I'm asking the government to ban masks and give free chocolate to everybody because whatever they're doing in Sweden must be working against the coronavirus. It's kind of a joke, but it would be kind of neat if it gets up there on the government petition.
Hey, if it means getting free chocolate, you can count on my support.
Free chocolate
for that.
That's something the left and right can agree with.
Yeah, absolutely. One final question: is there any truth in the rumor that you're going to be a guest on Big Mike Obama's new podcast?
Do what?
Is there any truth in the rumor you're going to be a guest on Big Mike Obama's podcast?
I don't know. Maybe.
We'll leave it there. Listen, thank you so much, Peter Boykin from Go Right News. Make sure you go check him out. Thanks for joining us, brother. Have a great week, and we will speak to you again very soon.
You too.
Thanks a lot. Take care. That was Peter Boykin from Go Right News. Go check him out. Go check out his website, GoRightNews.com. Before I forget, I did start to say, can we check on Dave? Because he's not been around for a while. I have sent him a message. If you guys could reach out to him, because Dave's lives matter too. I mean, Goat's lives matter too. So please make sure we check in on him. Not had your fill of the Gibbs, so you can find me 5 nights a week, except this week it will be 4. 5 Pacific, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 1 in the UK, and 12 in the United States. Sorry, no, that's not right. 5 Pacific, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 1 a.m. in the UK, and 10 a.m. the next day down there in Australia. Tomorrow, Tony Lusacco joins us with more scintillating chat. Thank you so much for watching. Please click the share button. Thanks to everybody in the live feed. I really do love you all. Stay safe out there. And like I said, click that share button. I'll be sending the Game Mafia around to sort you out. I love you all. Bye-bye. It has been good to me this time around. Things were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no ribs. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and eras don't dictate. Click the bell button and subscribe to keep up with the Xander Gibb Show. Oh yes, sirree.